Okay, this is a BMW X3 F25 chassis. I'm doing the front brake for the car this morning. So I've jacked up the car from the center point and also put it on jack stand on both sides. And I've taken the left side wheel out to get ready to change the rotors and the pads. I'm starting on the left side because this side has the brake wear sensors. Okay, before I do anything, I'm going to get access to this brake fluid reservoir. It's just a matter of removing some plastic pieces. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, I'm just going to open this brake fluid reservoir so that when I squeeze the caliper, it's not going to build up pressure, and I'm going to put paper towel around here so that if it does overflow, it'll catch the fluid. Okay, the first thing I'll do is remove this clip, and the way to do that is I'm going to use a screwdriver. I'm just going to squeeze that and pull it out, and that's it. Okay, next I'm going to just squeeze this just to loosen up the caliper. Okay, I'm going to loosen the caliper pin, which is behind this rubber cover. And it'll be an 8mm. Okay, so there's another pin down here. Also the 8mm Allen key. It's very hard to show on the camera, but hopefully this is shown here. Okay, it's not very tight. It shouldn't be very tight at all. Okay, just taking out this now. And here's the collider pin. Just remove that. Just put it up here, making sure that you don't damage these brake line hose. I'm just going to tie this up so that it doesn't fall down. Okay, next I'll be removing these two bolt, one here and one here. These are 16mm, so these would be pretty tight. That's what it's holding this piece together. So I'm going to be using an impact wrench to get it out. Okay, so that was really tight. So it's looser now. So here are the two bolts. And that piece is out. So this is actually made by Bosch. So this piece, as well as this part, also has Bosch printed on it. So they're actually Bosch made. I'll be removing this little bolt here that holds this disc in place. It is a 6mm Allen. This shouldn't be tight. Okay, that's loosened it. So it's almost trying to fall out already. So this car was taken care of BMW all the time, so it looks like they put a good amount of anti-seizing when they put this in. So that's come out. I'm just going to clean this out now with a wire brush and put some anti-seize on here before I put the new rotors in. Okay, before I do the rotor replacement, I've got to open up this panel here, because if I follow the cable for the brake sensor through, it actually goes behind here. So I've got to undo a few plastic 10mm nut to get access to where the brake sensor connection is, which is back in here. Okay, so I've peeled back this lining, and here is the box where the connector is. So there's 4 tabs, 2 on the top, 2 at the bottom, that we just pry out, and that should just open right up. Okay, so here's the connector. I'm just gonna squeeze this, and that just comes out. And we'll just pull this out, and there's the old sensor. I'm just going to compare the length of the new one. Okay, so I've put the sensor in now, and just following through the line. The new cable is there, and I've cleaned out this piece with a wire brush and then put some anti-seize on, and now I'll put in new rotors. So I've got new rotors. This is Bosch. So just line it up, and these actually came with new bolt, so I'm going to use that. Of course, you always start a bolt with your hand to make sure you don't cross thread. And then we're going to tighten it. This should not be very tight. This should be like I don't know, 15 Newton meter maybe. Okay, this is to hold this until you put in the wheel. Okay, so I've put those two 16mm bolts in for this piece. I don't know the torque setting, but it's tight, like really tight. As I was tightening it with my impact wrench, I was too lazy to get my impact socket. It actually cracked this socket. So I'm now using my impact socket instead. Okay, I'm just gonna squeeze the piston back before I install the new pads. Okay, so I'm also using Bosch pads, comparing the old and the new. So before I put this in place, I'm going to put some brake fluid, brake lube around all the contact points to reduce any risk of brake noise. Okay, so I've got brake lube on the contact surfaces. I've got the new pads in, and I'm just going to install it. Okay, and now I just have to reinstall the glider pin. Okay, I've cleaned the glider pin. I'm just going to put a little bit of brake lube before I install it. It's too hard to videotape as I'm doing it because there's not much enough room. Okay, so I've tightened the glider pins. They are not very tight either. I don't know the torque setting, but definitely not too tight. So I've reconnected the brake wear sensor. I've looped it through this cap and installed it now. So okay, I'm just gonna line this up, put in the bottom hook, and just squeeze this in place. Now I'm gonna use this to push, and that clips in, and that's it. Now we're done.